What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. First of all, we in the win column, y'all. Let's give it up. Here we go. Hey, the game just ended, and for the first time all year, I come on a show and not be sad. It's been depressing. I didn't start this show to come on and be mad every time. It was so good watching a team just win. I was just sitting home like, look at these guys playing well, not giving up sacks, making plays. I was just like, not to bring a tear to my eye, man. So the Dolphins got their first win tonight against division rival, the New York Jets. And I had the game 23-20. The game was 27-21. I said it would come down to who would execute better and not turn the ball over and do their game plan. That's exactly what happened. Miami was very clean execution. Didn't turn the ball over. Very clean with what they were doing. The Jets, very sloppy. Typical Jets fashion. Awful team. Making mistakes left and right. And frankly, had they not made that many mistakes, who knows who would have won. But they made a lot of mistakes and we did not. So finally, the Dolphins are off the schneid. They're in the win column. And more than anything else, I think the way they won is something they can replicate. They didn't do anything special. They just did. They looked like the Miami team that we came to expect. Good execution, good play call, stretch running, speed, Tua being mostly accurate. I mean, that's what we expect the team to look like, and that's what they did tonight. And it seemed like, I'm not saying it's the uniforms that did it. I'm not going to say that. That would be ridiculous to say that a new fit made you a better person. What I will say, this is the best they played all year, and they did have that fit on. Them boys walked out like, all I heard was "Wipe Me Down" the whole song. I mean, the whole game. I kept hearing "Wipe Me Down." I don't know if anybody was playing it, but that's what I kept hearing, because every time the camera cut to somebody, I'm like, man, that jersey look fire. It was great. And we usually have good alternate unis anyway, but I was looking at the Jets with that basic white and green combo. Miami came out with that dark with the orange and the that was fire. Again, I cannot say that the uniforms made the team play better. I can't say that. I also cannot say that it didn't. I can't prove it didn't. I know when I got a fresh fit on and a new haircut, I'm a different person. That's how I know. I move different through the world. Guilty as charged. And it seemed like tonight, them boys is moving different because they look like, dare I say, a cohesive unit. A team that played complementary football. A team that was well coached. What? Is that what I saw tonight? And again, I could give Coach McNeil the credit. I can give the players the credit. Or we could talk about that fit them boys had on tonight, because I think that's at least 25% of it. So stupid. But it was a really good win, man. We got Carolina next. So that seems Carolina just got absolutely annihilated by the Patriots. One of the worst games all year. Right up there with our game against the Colts. I mean, it was bad. So they're reeling. I imagine they'll come in inspired, trying to play their best ball. But they're not a very good team. So this is a game that we can start building momentum, get a second win, and then we got the Chargers, who are now down both their tackles. They just lost to the Giants, who are also a bad team. That game just a week ago, I was like, man, Chargers dominating the division. They might be the ones. And now it looks like the Chargers may not be as good as they looked before. So it's looking up. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Put the cart before the horse. It's a good win tonight. Be proud, Dolphin Nation. Fins up, bang some pots and pans together down there. Y'all know what y'all do down there. So very excited for tonight. But arguably, an even bigger aspect of tonight was the final field touchdown of Darren Waller. We've been waiting for this since he got picked up by the team. It was, he's healthy, and then of course he was not. It was, he's playing week 1, and of course he wasn't. It was, he's not practicing, but he's close, which he wasn't. And finally, tonight, we got the Darren Waller experience. This is very reminiscent of Ricky Williams. Came on the field, didn't have, his stats weren't crazy. 3 catches, 27 yards. If I told you that before the game, you would say, Oh, okay, he didn't do much. Except for 2 of those 3 catches were TDs. And the first one was exactly why we got him. Back of the end zone, good coverage against Sauce. Throw it up high. Go get it, Mr. 6'6". He said, hey, yo, big dog, I got you back. Like, when you see the angle from where Tua threw the ball, it looks like, why are you throwing that ball to him? Because all you see is white right on top of him. White being the jersey color. And Tua just like flipped it. And Darren just said, get big on him. It's the perfect way to use him in a red zone. We talked about him being on a snap count, and he would be used heavily on third down, heavily in the red zone. And I said, hey, wouldn't it be weird if he's in the red zone and people were like, hey, who's that giant 6'6" guy? He's probably getting the ball. And that's exactly what they did. I almost feel like the team listens to this show, but can't prove that because they did exactly what I thought they would do. He went in the back of the end zone as a giant force where you throw the ball up high, where either he catches it or it goes out the back of the end zone. Everyone knows it. Every team does it, except for us because we haven't had a tight end in 2 years. So, like a tight end that was that tall. John New's not as big as Darren Waller is. But I'm saying this was inspiring. I will say that. And it was also like, oh, because now that he's in the flow of it, it changed the way teams had to play us. Every time he came on the field, the Jets were like, mark that guy. And so he got more attention. He did what Nick Westbrook-Akine was doing, where he was running down the middle of the field, taking up attention, except for Darren Waller should be in the middle of the field because he is a tight end. He was taking up attention. He caught the passes that were thrown to him. Again, he didn't play a ton of snaps, and I hope that snap count goes up and up. I hope this isn't like a whole year Kawhi Leonard situation. I do hope, he plays most of the snaps. I don't want him in there having to do a ton of blocking, but every now and again, I do need him to probably like pull and just like seal somebody inside or, get a little shoulder in there on the way up field. I want to see some of that because he can't purely be a pass catching tight end because then they would just key in on pass catching every time. But he showed up. He showed out. I mean, this is what you hope for in the offseason. Like, he looked in those brief flashes like Raiders Waller, which we all wanted to see. So what a big time appearance. He's a free agent in my fantasy league. I don't think I'll be able to pick him up because I'm like 10th in my waiver out of 12. But if I can pick him up, I'll scoop him. Just to say I did for the sake of the fans. Tua is already one of my quarterbacks, so I already have 2 on the team. But if I can get Waller as well, I'll scoop him. I have been saying this the entirety of the offseason and into the season. Miami should run the ball more. I've been saying it till I've been blue in the face, and I'm brown, and I don't think I can get blue in the face. But I've been saying it. I said we should be a 60% run team, 40% passing team. Some people be like, but why do you have all these great receivers? I got you. It's when we have our chance to throw the ball, we can hit them. We should be running the ball. And part of running the ball is that you don't always get big runs. Part of running the ball is you just commit to the run. Miami tonight had 31 rushing attempts. Now, 3 of those were Tua's, and we don't want Tua ever running the ball. And he almost got his head taken off. I'm not going to lie to you. I stood up when he slid. I was like, why is he running so close? And I stood up not like this. And he popped right back up. And we got 15-yard penalty out of it. So shout out to Tua. But also, Tua, what are you doing? So if you take his 3 away, we had 28 rush attempts. Tua threw the ball 25 times. We ran the ball more than we passed the ball. In a game that it could have gone either way. The weather wasn't awful. It was like the team committed to the run. And you know what happened? They could do play action. And you know what play action led to? Wide open throws. It's almost like when you run the ball, the defense has to change the way they play defense, and then you could do more passing things off of it. It was weird. Like, Devon had a couple carries, 1 yard, whatever. Like, Ollie Gore never got going all night. But you know what they did? They kept running the ball. Running is about attempts, not always yards. They ended up, I think, having, 31 carries for 120-ish yards. So the yard is it's 4 yards a carry. Not elite. Not going to change the world. But you know what it does? It makes the defense have to respect it. And they had a couple plays where they fake runs and then did pitches or end arounds and did other stuff because the run was working well enough to make them have to respect it. They will never respect the run if you don't run the ball. And I've been convinced this whole time that I know Coach McDaniel is a run game specialist. That's what he's best at doing. But that he's decided, We can't run. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I honestly believe that the reason our offensive line was so good today is because we were able to run the ball. And I'm gonna get more into this in like tomorrow's episode because so much happened in this game. I can't possibly do it all in one episode. So this is gonna be a two-parter just about this game, maybe even a third part because I wrote down a bunch of notes. We'll get into them. But the offensive line today gave up no sacks. And I don't think it's because they were amazing at pass protection. I think the Jets were worried about the run, and so they were committing to like, hey, where's the running back? And every time we did a play action, they stopped for a second, so they're not rushing as much upfield. So then guys were opening up behind the defense. It was great to watch. Devon Achane, shout out to the toughness of Devon Achane. Everyone knows how fast he is. It's quite obvious. Like in the league of fast people, he bursts. You see it. Like he just got an extra gear. He gets the top speed really fast. He's also like not big. He's got a big head because of the helmets. He just like he be moving around. But he was breaking a number of tackles tonight. And there was a couple times where he engaged with somebody and then drove his legs and got 2 or 3 extra yards. I thought I was looking at, dare I say, David Montgomery. Crazy. Fine. But that's what it looked like some parts of the game. Like his touchdown run, he should have been tackled probably at the 3 or 4 yard line and just said, no, juke, Like a number of times you're running between the tackles. I'm thinking, it's a 1 yard gain. And all of a sudden, I'm like, was that 3 or 4 yards? He just was consistent. And then late in the game, got a couple burst runs, 10 yards here, 15 yards here. One time, he was almost out of there. He was one tackle away from having like a 50-yard run. They just stayed committed to it, and it made the whole playbook open up. It was awesome to see. We got tight ends involved. We had drags. Got Jalen Waller running around. It just was fun to watch, and it just warms my heart. And again, we didn't have a consistent run game all night outside of Devon. And he was 20 carries for 99 yards. We can round it up to 100. That's 5 yards a carry. But considering how many, 10-plus yard carries he had, that means most of those carries, 2, 3, 4 yards. And we just said we're not going to give up on it. And that helps when you have a lead. We have a lead, you keep running the ball. But we got the ball late in the game and just said we're going to kind of run this clock out. We ended up getting a field goal on that drive, but they just controlled the ball, which is what I've been asking this whole time. Get a lead, get to the last 4 or 5 minutes, and then let your running game take you home. The fact that we keep saying, all right, Tua, it's on you now, I don't think that's fair because we don't ask Tua to do that. That's not what he's great at, unfortunately. Maybe he'll grow into that, but as of now, that's not what he's great at. We should be able to scheme runs. We should be able, with just consistent effort, be able to do that late in games. And we saw just a consistent effort all night. And the Jets were getting frustrated that they weren't able to really stop the run consistently. Shout out to them, man. Very happy about this. Now, I can't finish this show without talking about probably the most significant, not second most significant thing that happened today. Tyreek Hill off of probably the best throw of the night from Tua, if I'm being honest, on the sideline. It looks like, as it's being reported now, by the time you see this tomorrow, it may be updated. It appears that he dislocated his knee. And when you dislocate your knee, your knee's kind of floating. It's like a floating joint. So when it dislocates, that means obviously it gets pulled from where it is more or less in the center. But one of the issues with that is that your ligaments that are attached around your knee could also be pulled out of alignment. So the dislocated knee can be reset. He'll need a brace. He'll be out for some time. What we need to find out once swelling goes down and all that is that any ligaments get torn in the process. Because if it's just a knee, I think there's a chance he comes back this year. If it's ligaments, I don't think he does. That's what's out there. So for sure he's gonna go on IR. There's no chance he comes back in less than 4 weeks. And you hope that it's not like there's no other structural damage and it's just a matter of, is he going to brace it? How does he feel on it? Because that knee is basically unstable. And given how he plays, which is amazingly fast, stop-start, like twitchy, he needs his knee to be 120%. I think, and I almost don't feel good about even saying this, I think it's entirely possible we saw the last Tyreek Hill play for the Miami Dolphins. I think it's entirely possible. If that knee is not If it wasn't just a mini dislocation and every ligament is perfect, and in 2 weeks he's like running with no brace on, if it's not that, if it's he's on IR, he still feels a little janky, he's gonna put a brace on it. I think for his own sake, like Tyreek wants to get one more big contract before he's basically out of football. If he comes back with a bad knee this year, one, he's not going to put up the stats he wants to put up, so it's going to be hard to command the money. But two, if he further injures that knee, he's going to be possibly out for a portion, if not all of next year too. So for his future, it would be dumb to do so. And if he's out for, let's say, 6 weeks, let's just put a number on it. Depending on what the team record is, it wouldn't make sense to bring him back anyway. Right? If we're 3-9 after 6 weeks, then it's like, what am I coming back to? The 3-9, 3-6. That math ain't math. If we're 3-6 after 9 weeks, then you're like basically have to win out to get in the playoffs. If we feel like, hey, that's not happening, we start doing some version of a fire sale, then even if he says I'm healthy enough to play, it doesn't make sense to play him. Maybe we hold on to him and try to trade him, like tag and trade kind of situation. But I think it's entirely possible that was the last Tyreek Hill play we're going to see. And that is sad, actually. Because everyone's been talking about he's going to get traded. It's inevitable. He's going to blow up on the team. And he was playing a great game up to that point. Him and Tua were back in rhythm. He was making plays. He looked fast. He looked quick. And he didn't even get a chance to really partake in the win. Like, this is what he's been wanting all year. Feed me the ball. Let's win some games. Let's start building momentum. And then he got hurt. I'm hoping, I think best case scenario, he's back like after the Buffalo game for the last few games of the season, maybe last 5 games of the year. And he would only do that if we're like in the thick of the playoff race. So really it's up to us. I think whether he plays or not again depends on us. I think he will want to go out there like bundle my knee up. I'm still quick. I'm still fast. Like I want to support the team. I think you'll hear him say that probably in like a month or so. Yo, man, I feel good to go, just ready to get back on the field. And coach would be like, we're taking it day by day. And I think really we're gauging our record. We're gauging like trade interest. Because again, just because he's hurt doesn't mean he's not a tradable asset. There's teams that may feel like Tyreek's a multi-year commitment. We'll trade for him this year to get the best of him next year. That's on the board. But when I saw that happen, I did this. I was like, man, that might be an end of the Tyreek Hill Miami experience because it financially doesn't make sense to bring him back next year. He's going to want $35 million a year minimum, right? Doesn't make sense to bring him back. Our cap is strapped. We've already kind of been in the soft rebuild. Last year is the last year of us owing Tua any real money. Like we're a year away from being able to basically clear the books to start over. It doesn't like if we're doing the rebuild softly, which we have been basically this whole offseason, doesn't make sense to bring Tyreek back unless he takes a crazy pay cut. And at no point in Tyreek's life has he been a pay cut kind of guy. Somebody's going to pay Tyreek money. They'll pay for the upside of Tyreek. So if he knows there's money out there to have and the city is moderately good, which is like 20 cities are moderately good, what are those teams going to pay him? If it's not the Chiefs, it's DC. If it's not DC, it's Buffalo. If it's not Buffalo, like somebody's going to pay him. Someone who thinks they're a championship away, maybe like the Chargers, like a team that feels like the Rams, a team that feels like we're close to winning. We got a small window. We'll pay the money for the short term. Somebody will pay for it. And I'm sorry. It was sad to see because anytime you get carted off in football, I say this many times. Anytime you get carted off, it's almost never a good thing. Luckily, it's not an ACL or Achilles. Like as of now, like the Achilles is out of the question, but we don't believe it's an ACL because they would have gotten preliminary results of that. But it really did sour an otherwise like great night. And I will say shout out to the team for having resolve. After Tyreek got hurt, like the mood in the room, you can see it on TV, kind of dropped, but the team didn't drop. They kept producing. They kept going. They kept making plays. They kept scoring. And I was like, shout out to y'all, man, for not giving it up. For not being like, oh, man, Tyreek's out. Everybody's sinking and getting in their head. No, we kept playing, which is what he would have wanted. Like, he went off clapping his hands. He was, like, trying to get the crowd a little lively. But you could tell, like, he knows what happened. He knows he's been hurt before. He knows it's a tough injury. So We are hoping a speedy recovery for Tyreek. We're hoping that it's only a knee dislocation, no other ligament or tendon damage in there. And hopefully, we'll see you again on the field. That would be fantastic. My preliminary thing is that we may have seen the last of Tyreek. We'll see what happens. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in to the Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank y'all for the likes and the subscribes. We got our first win. We appreciate that. Hopefully we get more to come from that. And we'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.